Welcome to Direction Northeast. Hello, I'm Kid Alexander. This program is a presentation of the Communications Department of Northeast State Community College. This week we will be talking about a new program called P.L.A, designed to assist returning veterans. We will meet our guest and start our discussion following these messages.
Over 10 years in investigations.
25 in heating and air conditioning.
15 years in the automotive industry.
22 in computer science.
23 years in healthcare.
An engineer.
A biochemist.
A chemist.
An award-winning author.
Northeast State professors bring experience to the classroom, a personal education from a professional. Classes when you need them, where you need them. More than 150 programs. Visit northeaststate.edu. Northeast State Community College. We're here to get you there.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm a wife, a mother, and a student pursuing my dreams.
I came back to school with a passion to help people.
Came back to Northeast State to study electromechanical because I like working with my hands.
To be a producer.
At 64, I'm a student and an entrepreneur.
Wherever you are and whenever you're going, we are here to get you there at Northeast State.
Today we'll examine a new program in Northeast State designed to make sure returning military students earn credit transfers are handled in a consistent and conservative and fair manner. By standardizing how Northeast State awards military credits, the Prior Learning Assessment, or PLA, has created a seamless process for the transfer. The LLS applies the appropriate transfer credits from a service member's military experience to their Northeast State transcript. Here to walk us through this program is Clancy Anderson, Military PLA Credentials Coordinator. Clancy, welcome to Direction Northeast.
Hey, thanks for having me by.
Great to have you on the show.
It's awesome.
All right. So I wonder if you could tell our viewers, first of all, what brought you to Northeast State Community College?
Oh, well, I am myself a prior vet, and I've always wanted to work in an education setting. I was a teacher for the longest time, but I wanted to work at a college. And, well, it just came up, and I was an assistant director down at Sullivan County at the public library there. And I saw this job come up, and I've built a lot of networking, you know. We had a speaker series with a lot of the people down here at Northeast State. So Jim Hendricks out of enrollment, Marquita Tittle out of career services, Denise Walker out of testing, and even John Adcox and Jessica Kelso down at the Office of Veteran Affairs. So I got to know them really well. So when I saw the job come open and it was helping vets receive the transcripts, the credits that they deserve, right? I looked at that and I'm like, well, this is a win-win. I get to work at a college and I get to help vets.
So what would make a student eligible for this program?
Well, because it's specifically about their military training and taking that and transferring it into real credits in Northeast State, this program's open to military members. So we have a lot of armories in the area, reservists, Army National Guard, and then it's also open to veterans that come to our school. So current military members and veterans.
So what about like a student, and this may be what you're talking about,
right?
Whose parents, you know, like they're active members, or perhaps they've been members of the military or armed services. So would they have would they be eligible for this program?
No, because they didn't have any prior service in the military. But I'll tell you, a lot of kids of service members, they approach me and they ask me, you know, what's going on here? You know, how can we get these credits? Because a lot of people, you think it's, you know, people would use their GI Bill benefits. A lot of people don't. So getting those people back to school, this is a real carrot that can bring them back. I mean, if I'm offering you 6 credits or 9 credits, 12 credits for what you did in the military, that's huge. You know, that's a good starting point.
So I wonder too if you can kind of tell me about this. See, my grandfather, well, he served in the military as well. And so this is more specifically for the students that's already been actively serving in the military, but this is a way that you said they can get 6 to 9 credits.
Yeah, yeah. So what we do is you have a joint service transcript, okay? And that's just like any transcript. So let's say you went to Walter State, or you went to ETSU, or you went to Milligan or somewhere else, right? And you came here. We would honor those transfer credits, right? We'd look at the class and we go, okay, that class, it equals this class. So we'll give you those 3 credits for whatever, right? With this program, we look at your joint service transcript. And there's things on there you wouldn't imagine. I mean, we have English credits that are on there, speech credits that are on there. And in the past, it used to be a lot of PE that was done. Oh, you went to boot camp, here's your PE credit. That's all we're going to give you. Now we're looking into the details of it. So if you're an electronics technician, right, you worked on computers and you did that in the military, we're going to give you credits that match that.
I wonder too, you mentioned speech credits.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit about that, or is that like an area of your expertise, I guess, if you would? Or
Well, with that, you have, you'll see a lot of communications on there, right? So my job is to look at what is recommended on your joint service transcript. And that's done by the American Council on Education. These people go to these confidential sites where this training occurs, right? And it's a team of subject matter experts, so professors in the field, and they'll look and they'll see, okay, is this really communications? Are they gaining communications, or are they not? And how many credits should we give them? So if let's say you're a recruiter, right? I'd say you're pretty good at public speaking, right? You're good at communications. So what that team, that American Council on Education, also known as ACE, what they will do is they'll look at it and they'll go, yeah, you know what? This person deserves a public speaking or a communications or a speech that will apply to that. But the problem's been that a lot of schools haven't been, that exists as on the joint service transcript, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to accept it. We're going to be accepting that, and we're going to be doing it standardized, not just willy-nilly.
So like you mentioned there, then pretty much a team of experts is coming in there looking at
Oh, yeah.
seeing what they're eligible for,
Yeah.
whatnot. So what branches of the military does this program benefit?
It affects the Coast Guard, the Navy, Army, and it does not affect the Air Force, and I'll get to that in a little bit, but it also helps the Marines out, okay? So the Marines, the Army, the Navy, and the Coast Guard. The reason it doesn't really affect the Air Force is they're smart. They do their own community college. So anything you do in the Air Force is put as credits on your transcript for the Air Force's community college. So that makes that transfer process a lot easier. But for those other 4 branches, there really hasn't been anything like that to really advocate that, hey, these are real credits. So that's when I come into play.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Army program in specifics? Because I know of at least 2 people right off the bat that I know is serving in the Army, and that would be a huge benefit to somebody like that that's looking to get back into community college or whatever.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, with the Army, and I was prior Navy, they do a program called TAPS. And it stands for something, but what it comes down to is it's a couple days, and they teach you how to resume write and perform interviews well. But they also tell you about your joint service transcript, and that you can go online and you can go to jst.dod.mil, so military, right? But you can go to that website and you can sign up, and you give your credentials like your birth date and stuff like that only you'd know, and it pulls up what your joint service transcript was, what you did in the military.
That's handy.
So then you take that, right, and what you can do, you can either print it off and give it to me, or the internet's pretty awesome. You can basically just say, hey, I want to send this directly to the school. It comes to myself, John Adcox, or Jessica Kelso down in the Office of Veteran Affairs, and then we start to take a look at it. That begins the process.
So you served in the Navy. I wonder if you could tell us too about the Navy program as well.
Yep.
And how long did you serve?
The Navy program was very similar, but I will tell you about my service. I was a nuclear reactor operator on a submarine up in Groton, Connecticut. Yeah. So I've taken a path. I grew up on a ranch as a kid, so it's been a path. But that's what I did in the military, and I was also the training petty officer on the boat. And my biggest thing when I was on the boat was making sure that people took CLEPs. They're great, right? They accelerate your time. They make it to where you don't have to be in school as long, and you can get to that career you want when you get out of the military. So that's what I really pushed when I was in the military. I got out of the military. Of course, I took a lot of CLEPs. But I noticed that my community college really didn't transfer anything. That's that same old story. I got my PE credits. I was a nuclear reactor operator on a submarine. It took until I went to my four-year school, Eastern Connecticut State University, where they started to honor those credits, the physics credits, the chemistries, heat transfer fluid flow, you name it. So I actually have lived this. I've seen it. And now that I've come kind of full circle, being a veteran, working to advocate for groups that don't get as much advocacy as they truly do, now I'm here and I get to take those credits and make sure that they're honored.
What branches of the military? So you've already mentioned, the Navy, you mentioned the Army and everything. How do incoming students benefit from a program like this? And I guess what would be the first step that they would need to take?
Well, I'll tell you about the first step and then the benefits. The first step they do need to take is just get your joint service transcript. Go on to the website, jst.dod.mil. Go there. Get that account set up, get your JST, get it sent to me. That's the first step. Because the law, there's this law in Tennessee now, it's a Tennessee state law, it's called Public Chapter 31, and it was passed in March of 2017, and it says specifically, you're supposed to get this on board at all your schools, and you're supposed to look at their JST, match it up with their American Council on Education, make sure you do that, and then look at your course catalog and see if anything matches. So I can't get that first step done unless I have your JST, right? So then what we do is we get your JST, I input it into a form, and I send it around. Because I'm not the expert, right? I don't know everything about psychology. I don't know everything about math and sciences, and definitely not the health professions, right? So I don't know that. And then we have aviation down with Richard Blevins, right? I haven't flown a plane. So my job is to look at it and go, okay, here's what we're looking for, guys. And then I send it off to those we call them credit reviewers, but they're faculty members, right? And they look at those credits and they assess them. They look at our learning objectives. They look at the learning objectives that are on the JST. And then they go, okay, this is a match. We have a match here. They sign it, goes to their dean. Their dean looks at it, makes sure it's all kosher. Then it goes to the next department, the next department, the next department. Then it goes to the vice president of academic affairs, Connie Marshall. So you can see how this takes some time, right? But it's got to go through all these ducks because we have SACS requirements and stuff like that where we have to meet those for accreditation. Then it goes to our registrar, Deidre Close. Then it finally comes back to me. I input it. We're solid, right? Now that student fills out a form. I contact them and say, hey, we've looked at your whole JST now. I contact them and we have a sit down where we just talk it out. We go, okay, here's the credits you could receive. What are you gonna what are you in school for?
Well, actually, I'm majoring in broadcasting.
Oh, okay.
But I'm also a dual enrollment student, so I do meteorology and broadcasting. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So what we would do, right, is we'd make sure that, let's say you did broadcasting in the military, right? We'd make sure that those credits transfer, but maybe credits like about math and, sciences would apply, right, for meteorology. But things, maybe you did some welding or something, you don't know, right? We'd suggest you don't apply those. And the reason we would say that, stay within your degree, right, is there's financial aid requirements, and if you take on too much, they're going to think, oh, you've already taken a lot of classes, you've already used a lot of financial aid, when you really haven't. They're just looking at what what's on your transcript, and then that can really hurt you when it comes to financial aid. So we make sure that we, after all that process happens, we sit you down and we go, okay, what is your goal, right? And what have you done in the past, and how does that match up?
Right, but it starts with the click of the mouse, I guess, if you will.
Right.
They got to take the first step, get on that website.
Yep.
So what type of classes in specifics are eligible for transfer? You may have already briefly touched on this.
Yes.
But what classes, tell us about that, would be eligible for a transfer with this program?
That's the beauty of this. Lots of them. And and I will say this, I already mentioned Richard Blevins, but we have a lot of aviators that come through. And having that program out there in gray, and it's wonderful. It makes it to where we can transfer a lot of those credits. Lots of people in the health professions, right? You have medics, nurses that are in the military, and they're coming here and they want to get those jobs, right? Because there's a lot of jobs in the area for nursing, and we have a great program here. So there you go. There's some more that transfers over. Business administration, you wouldn't think it, but it's true. Lots of computer applications, keyboarding. A lot of people in the military, they work around electronics. So those are courses too. Now, whatever's on your JST, if we have, we offer that program here, it'll transfer. But I'm telling you, health professions, aviation, welding, stuff like that, those, and business administration, those are some key classes we take.
It's funny because you mentioned the organization down there in Gray. I know I've driven by and probably no wonder. Exactly. Now, what kind of involvement do they have? Or are they like a huge integral part of it?
Well, it's an incredible program. Like I've been down there and I've gotten to see it. But a lot of what they do is, they work with drones, stuff like that. And those are great jobs. For example, you have those radio towers, right? Those cell towers, right? And we're shifting from 4G to 5G, all this stuff, right? And what they do is they utilize those drones and they'll go up the tower, right, to check them, right, to see if their integrity is good, instead of sending somebody up to climb it, right? Now you can just take that drone and look at it, right? So there's good jobs out there, and you don't have to be climbing up towers for them now.
Right. Now this kind of brings a interesting question, I guess, to mind. For somebody who may have actually served in military-related work, but may have actually flew drones, they didn't actually, let's say, fight on the battlefield or one of those. Would they be eligible for the credits?
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're a military member, or currently are, or you're a veteran, you have a JST. That's the beauty of it. That is the glorious beauty of it. So and some people don't know about it. Even though it's brought up at the end of their military career, they just, it kind of phases out. They don't think about it. And this is the opportunity now. Now you're hearing it, right? You're hearing right now, bring your JST, print it off. I would prefer you just send it to me, via, the app, via the website. But yeah, get it to me now. Because even if, and that's the other thing too, I want to take a look at it. I really do. Because if, let's say you were a mechanic in the military, right? Let's say you worked on Humvees. Yes, I will look at what you did, right? But the next guy that comes along that had your same exact job, guess what? The process is going to be way easier for him. He's going to come in. We're going to say, well, hey, we already reviewed that. Now instead of that whole process through the faculty and all that, we're just like, well, here's the student form. Fill this out. All right, let's talk it over. You want to take these classes? You want to take these ones? What's your major? Right? And now we have it to where they got all those transfer credits and it's a 15-minute process. That's the beauty of it. So do it now. Bring your JST now, because it's not only helping you currently, but it's going to help future veterans that had your same job.
So after that 15-minute process, generally for the one we're just talking about right there, how long does it usually take to get all that stuff processed in, and then where they're already basically getting the funding that they need to jump into it? So
the biggest thing is, especially if we haven't reviewed it yet, it does take time. Like I said, if you've done certain work in the military, now we have 7 divisions here, academic divisions, right? So that's spread from math to science to health professions, you name it, right? Some people, what they did in their military career touches all 7 of those. So that's 7 deans it's got to go through, 7 faculty members it's got to go through, plus the VP, plus the registrar, and me. That's going to take some time. But I will tell you, it used to take a lot longer, because what we would do is we just take the joint service transcript and we pass it to the dean. Now it's standardized. Now it's a form. So it makes it a lot simpler, and it makes it to where it's not just for the individual now. Now it's for everyone. It helps everybody that did your job in the military.
How much easier does technology make it? I mean...
Oh, I know. It's just this is just incredible. And the streamlining of it makes it to where eventually it'll be one of those things where a lot of people will only have that 15-minute consultation instead of, it'll probably be a month or 2 or something like that still, to go through that whole process. But once we get this rolling and get it going, there's going to be, most people it's going to take, not that long to get their credits transferred.
I know you mentioned the website, but now tell us about social media. Are you on Facebook?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Twitter. Office of Veteran Affairs. That's one of those things. just go on Facebook. We're all pretty tech savvy, I hope. Just go on Facebook. Look up Office of Veteran Affairs in Northeast State, and we post things on there all the time. Not just what I'm doing, right? Most of it's not what I'm doing. It's everything that they offer there. I mean, they are a one-stop shop down there. I'm here talking about my job, but to brag about them, they do far more work than me, and a lot of it's because they're advising. They're there for the veterans, just a shoulder, just somebody to talk to, right? But their main purpose is certification. So making sure they get their GI Bill benefits, making sure it's the right GI Bill for them. There's different GI Bills, and we won't get into that. There's a lot of details there. But making sure that they're getting the right GI Bill for them, making sure that they're looking at scholarships that are available, making sure that they're utilizing testing services. You name it, it's a one-stop shop down there, and they're great. They're great down there. They know what they're doing. So it's just it's a wonderful program we have here for veterans.
It's so important too. I mean, so that the veterans can find out that something like this exists for them. Because I know sometimes I guess coming back from service or whatever, and they're wanting to go back to college because civilian life's completely different. So they need so they want to further their education, but just getting that out to the public.
It can it can be difficult. But the beauty of it is I used to work in a library, which you think, okay, a library. I built a lot of connections there, a lot of networking. That's when I came down here and I talked to all the various people here, building that relationship. I also built relationships with the American Job Center that's in Kingsport, Kingsport Literacy Council. I built a good relationship with them. I built all these good networks around the area, and it's made it to where with this program, what I've done is, well, where are military members and veterans going to be, right? Well, they might be in law enforcement, right? So I send it to all the different law enforcement agencies in the area, right? Let them know, and of course they want their their detectives and their police officers to have a better education. So they want that, right? But also the temp agencies, right? You're coming back, you're looking for a job. You see that flyer, you go, hey, this could get me a better job in the long run. I can go to school, right? Libraries, right? I delivered it to all the libraries in the area so that you go to the library first. Maybe you just moved back. You're trying to figure out what's in the area. What can I do, right? Go to the library, and they say something to the reference librarian, and they go, well, why don't you go down to Northeast State? They got this great program. So I've made sure that I've gotten it out to as many people as possible. Plus, I'm a member of TCMAC, the Tri-City Military Affairs Council. And it's a group of, that's VFWs, American Legions, the local armor, anybody that works with veterans or works for military members. And, I mean, there's companies in there. There's Eastman Credit Union. There's Beef O'Brady's, right? There's people that are down, that they just care about veterans. So that's yet another network where those people are talking too. So I've tried to, really ramp this up and make it to where as many people know. We're going on the radio. I've been on Dave Light every month to make sure, Dave Light, AM Tri-Cities in the morning on ESPN radio, and talked with him, to make sure, and he's a veteran too, so he really cares about it. And we talk it up. We try to get it out there. It's a big deal.
So why is it better for veterans to utilize this program rather than not? I mean,
okay.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Well, no, and I'll tell you this much, right? It seems logical, but it goes past this logic, and this is what I'm talking about. People that receive prior learning assessment, that's what P.L.A. stands for, prior learning assessment. Just general, right? We have a general P.L.A. program here as well, not just a military one. But people that utilize and gain prior learning assessment, that they get that transferred onto their transcript, right? They're more likely to succeed. Now, that makes sense. There's 6 credits in, 9 credits in, 12 credits in. That's less classes they have to take. That means that they'll be able to succeed better. But the other thing is, these people have worked, they know how to work, right? So they're the non-traditional students in the classroom that know how to work, get the job done, help out other students, be almost a teacher. How they say on the basketball court, right? A teacher on the basketball, coach on the basketball court, a coach on the sideline, right?
Yes.
So they end up being those people too, right? And we're talking I'll say with associate's degree, it goes from, I don't know the exact figures, but it doubles, right? So if you're just a traditional, just a normal student that doesn't have any P.L.A. versus one that does, it doubles your chances of getting your associate's degree, getting your bachelor's degree. So it's just vital. It's a wonderful thing.
One more question. How does the GI Bill tie into this program?
Well, realistically, it doesn't. That's the beauty of it. So let's say you've used all your GI Bill, right? You've gone to other schools, and you've done the rounds, right? Maybe you've gotten a couple of degrees along the way, but you haven't had your joint service transcript looked at. And you want to come here, you want to start fresh, right? You want to do something different, let's say. All right, let's look at your joint service transcript. What matches? Wow, you are on your way to another associate's degree or just getting your associate's degree done. So that's the beauty of it. Thank you.
So how can I get in touch? Just tell us one more time how we get in touch with this program and with you.
The best thing to do is to email me. I'm dead serious. It's C.R. Anderson, all right? So C.R.A.N.D.E.R.S.O.N at northeaststate.edu. That's the best way to get started with this. So just get a hold of me there, and I'll start helping you out.
And of course, I can always reach you on Facebook and
That's right.
Instagram and Twitter.
We're everywhere. Yeah.
Everything. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We'll be back in a moment to wrap up Direction Northeast.
I'm pursuing my PhD in nursing.
I work in video production.
I'm a physical therapist.
I'm a business owner.
I'm a journalist.
A refrigeration technician.
I am a dental hygienist.
And I got my start at Northeast State.
I started
At Northeast State.
I got my start at Northeast State.
We all have to start somewhere, and at Northeast State, we make it easy. With over 150 programs of study, the choice is clear. Smart careers. Start here. Visit northeaststate.edu and get started today. Northeast State Community College. We're here to get you there.
I've learned a lot of things in my life, but there is no substitute for hard work. If you've got the will and determination, doors will always continue to open. Life puts us in the driver's seat. Where we go and what we accomplish is up to us. What's that old saying? When the going gets tough, the tough get going.
That concludes the program for today. We talked with Clancy Anderson about the Veterans Prior Learning Assessment Program at Northeast State. Community is very important to the students at Northeast State Community College, and this program takes a look at a few of the subjects they find important. Until we meet next time, on behalf of the students, staff, and faculty of Northeast State Community College, I'm Kid Alexander, and this is Direction Northeast.